and gentlemen, how the hell are we? It has been a little while. I don't even know how long it's been. I don't have my phone. I don't know where oh, it's over there. So if we need it, that's like a last resort kind of deal. Or go grab the phone. But, now I turn this down. I sound loud as fuck. Not unnecessary loud. This podcast has been a long time coming. It's only been like, I guess it's been a decent amount since I'm gonna grab the phone. Just give me a second. Alright, let's take a look. Let's take a goddamn look here. It's been exactly, wow, 10 days. That's a pretty long time. I think that's the longest I've gone without doing a solo podcast, actually. That's kind of wild. Bro, the last one we ended on such a good note. It's like, and this is the problem, all right? And I've realized this, and I'm going to let you guys in on some shit that nobody tells us in school and shit, all right? You're going to make it a million times in life. You're going to think, oh, this is the spot I'm good at. And then the bar is going to keep raising. And then you're going to be like, oh, I'm good at this spot. And then the bar is going to raise again. And then you're going to be like, oh, I'm good at this spot. Bro, I felt so goddamn good a couple weeks ago. And then after that week, for a whole week, I was depressed as fuck. Like, the only thought inside of my head was, just don't kill yourself. By Friday, just get to Friday, you'll make it. And you'll be fine. And I don't even know what it was. I had this like deep sense of in my body. I gotta stop looking at that. It's messing with me. I realized that I was doing it. Yeah, I like, it sounds weird, okay, because I had never reached a spot in myself where I was at peace, and I had gotten to that spot, legit peace. I was there for a whole week. But I knew, even myself, in that state, it's a weird state because it's literally what the fucking Buddhism and all these people are talking about. It's a state of non-attachment. I was completely and utterly unattached from who the fuck I am. That's why I was terrified. It was scary because I was like, I know I am Cody Kiss, but I don't really feel like it. Because like I felt my soul for the first time in my fucking life. It was crazy. And it sounds nuts. Trust me, I know, because I used to never believe in any of this shit either, but that's how it took me 5 fucking years of hardcore working out, meditating, reading, all of this shit, learning history, science, biology, evolution, all this shit. It took my entire life, basically, to get that 1 week of peace. And I thought I had made it again. I was like, I made it. I'm fucking happy, but I knew that I didn't. I knew there was something else coming because there's no way I was able to live in that state because like Chance and I had talked about in the last one, I had forgotten about bills. I was so unattached from what the fuck was going on that I just didn't care. I was even at work, like I was doing my job, I was still functioning. Nothing was abnormal besides how I felt on the inside. I just felt at peace. Like a complete sense of peace, no matter what was happening. Something bad could happen, something good could happen. It didn't matter. I was just at peace and I didn't care about it. And it's not like a state of like, oh, fuck all this bullshit. No, it's just a state of like, okay, this is how it is. It's going to be this way, let it be that way. Because that's what I was trying to get across was, if something's a certain way, the background's moving. Chance put a moving background on this thing, and I don't think he realized how much it's going to distract us during this podcast, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to talk shit about it to him, though. So, yeah, it was just like a state of where I was just fully accepting what was. Like, that's what our brain's doing all the time. That's why it projects us into the future. That's why it holds us back in the past, is because we're trying to live out of the present moment. We're trying to, oh, I got to do this next week, or I got to make supper in this time and do that. Oh, oh, I think about this memory from 20 years ago. Our brain's always constantly just fucking throwing us around in time, basically. And that's why we're all psychotic. And that's what the fuck these things are pointing to, is that the present moment is the salvation from the mind. Because I didn't think it was possible. But there is a fucking state of being where you are fully at peace with yourself and with other people. That's fully love, full embrace. It's not bullshit. It's not bullshit at all. And that's why it was so hard to come back. And I don't want to yap about myself the whole time. That's not what the fuck we do on these podcasts. But I just got to explain why it took me so long to get back here. But then, when I came back, and started feeling myself, normal again, how most people feel, we're in our brain. That's what I was trying to explain, but none of it makes sense. Even to me now, none of it makes sense to your brain. The brain cannot make any sense of it. That's the problem. So anything you try to think about with this, or your brain just tries to do it automatically. It tries to fucking label it and put it in boxes. It doesn't make any fucking sense to the human mind. It's like bringing a cell phone back, to the 1700s. They're not going to know what the fuck that is. That's basically what we do. But it's so they realized that with this cell phone, they can get further ahead, right? Obviously, because it's a cell phone. That's kind of how we are with our human mind. I think that's what gave us the advantage over other monkeys. We gained that self-awareness that made us realize, hey, we can use this brain and this biology for other things. We can bash these rocks together, and we could fucking make a sharp rock and kill things with it. And we could fucking make spears and do all kinds of shit, create fire. Or what I believe is, I think they found fire. I think they found a lightning struck somewhere, or a dry forest that caught fire. And I think that's how humans discovered fire. And then we just figured out how to make it ourselves through friction. But essentially, I came back into normal. Okay, so I'll just explain it like this in a way that makes sense. I felt at peace, completely non-attached, like all the Buddhist bullshit, all the nonsense they're spewing. That's how I felt. And I'm not trying to hype myself up, because it's truly a state of unattachment where you realize, hey, I'm no better than anybody else or anything else on this fucking planet. Yeah, I may have educated myself by reading and fucking doing this shit and talking to people, but that doesn't make me any fucking better. I'm just a normal fucking human being doing normal human being shit, just like everybody else. Or you look at a fucking squirrel. We're no better than a squirrel. Sure, we can fucking kill a squirrel. We can lock a squirrel in a cage, but does that make us better than the fucking animal? No. That just makes us a fucking dick. That doesn't do anything. What? It doesn't make sense to me to why we think we're so much better than anything else on this planet, like a tree. And I understand it to a point, because if we were in that state of mind the entire time through human history, we wouldn't have gotten this far, because we needed the mind to come up with these other things. Because it's weird. The mind is a weird ass thing. Because it's not that we have control over it. Because if we had control over it, it'd be like our phone. You want to go onto Facebook, you pull up Facebook. You want to go on to fucking Instagram, you pull up Instagram. You want to Google something, you Google something. That's how our brain would work if we had full operation of our brain. We'd be able to be like, okay, pull this memory up, boop, pull this up, boop, boop, boop. Because it's a computer, isn't it? But we don't have control of this fucking computer. That's the problem. The computer's trying to control us. That's the entire game of fucking being an animal. We have this computer and instincts and biology, and the brain is trying to fucking take control. And we have to fight our instinct, and we have to fight weird things in our biology, like the sedimentary lifestyle, like not being active or not taking care of your body or your mind. And I forgot what I was talking about. I need a drink of water anyway, though. I remember. So I don't think we'd be able to get to this point without the use of the human brain. Obviously we wouldn't. Look at what we've accomplished. But the thing is, we forgot back to my analogy, if you bring a phone back to the 1700s, yes, this thing can give us more access and more knowledge and give us new ideas and new pathways to think. But it's not us. It'd be like taking that phone back and the 1700 person mistaking themselves. And it sounds fucked up and stupid, but they mistake themselves for the phone. They're like, okay, this phone is me. Everything about this phone is me. That's what we basically do with our biology. Because I truly believe, I didn't believe in this, man, and I've said this a lot on this podcast. And I know I've said it before, like the last couple of weeks, but the last couple of weeks, like, super solidified in my being that I don't think that this is it. I don't think this is it, man, because there's too much evidence I've experienced now and researched. I've looked into near-death experiences and all those. I got to look into comas, actually, because Blair had told us we should look into comas, and I never did. I still haven't. He actually sent me a video also for me to watch. I should do that as well. But yeah, man. So I came back into the normal ways of being. So so the way I was going to explain it is, if you're at peace and bliss completely, right? Then you come back to normal human functioning. Normal emotions like sad, mad, happy, all this shit. And then I just got super depressed, man. My brain was fucking dogging on me. Like, it wasn't even I wasn't having depressed thoughts, really. I just felt, like, fuck. It was like, the analogy I gave Chance is like when I take my glasses off, I get, like, this weird, uncomfortable feeling just because my brain knows that I'm supposed to be seeing things better, right? So without my glasses, it's all blurry and fucked up, and my brain gets, like, this level of discomfort in there because I know it's not what I'm supposed to be seeing. And the same with if you get water in your ears. It's like, I'm weird with sensations. Like, if something is not right, if something from my perception is not being perceived as it normally should be, I know about it. I'll know about it. And that's basically how it felt. It's like, but it wasn't glasses. It's my entire brain keeping me from peace. That's why it's so fucked up. Because it's us doing it to ourselves, but we don't. It's a weird thing. It's not like schizophrenia. It's not like two voices in your head. There's one voice. It's you. But that's like the human incarnation, if you will. Like, if you take the essence out of me and you put it in. Okay, there's this analogy I've heard on podcasts a bunch, but if you take two babies, all right, and they're completely blank slates, right? They're just new souls in a new biology, no preformed networks or filters on their brain, nothing like this. Well, it'd be hard to do. It'd have to be a controlled study, because you'd have to get the two mothers to be in like a controlled environment that you can manage, so that there's no imprintation from stress or outside things onto the baby inside the womb, because that's when the development starts, is inside the womb. Your babies start listening, they start doing a lot of shit in the womb before they even come out. But if you were to run this study and you would have two babies come out the exact same, like, obviously their genetics are different and their biology is different parents, right? But then you raise these two children, they're going to become those people they were meant to be, right? So what if we switch those two? You switch those two around, have this guy live this guy's life and that guy live that guy's life. They're going to be the exact same. Well, all right, see, that's where it gets hard. You can't switch the biology around because the genes are different. But that's a hard thing too, because of epigenetics and stuff. Because the latest gene science and shit proves that our genes mutate from our environment. So if your mother, let's say there's a fucking, I don't know, she sees somebody die from a snake while she's pregnant with you, she's gonna fucking have a fear of snakes. That fear of snakes get passed on to you through genetics, and then you fear snakes for no reason. That's like, our genes mutate. Like, that's the thing about the human biology. I guess that's what I should have said, is we only have a certain amount of genes, and our genes are just changing themselves to different things that they need in the environment. Like ADHD. My brain thought I needed to be fucking hyped up all the time. So it gave me ADHD. Because there was a lot of stress when I was fucking growing in the womb and shit, obviously. Well, not obvious to anybody else, but to me it was pretty obvious. But, and that's not to dog on my family. I love them. I love them to death. They did as best they could. I don't look at my family in any way anymore. We're fucking weird. We're a fucking band of misfits, I can tell you that. But I don't look down on any of my family members or nothing like that, because that's what I was just saying. We're all fucking the same thing. And that's what I was coming back to. So you take the essence of who you are. So you take me and Chance. Let's use that analogy, right? Me and Chance, you take the very essence of what we are. Whatever fucking gives us life, okay? The soul, if you want to call it. Buddhists call it Atman. There's a bunch of words for it, right? And you take that very essence, your consciousness, and you take Chance's consciousness and put it in my body as a child, or as a baby when I was... Okay, so this is confusing. I'm confusing myself. Essentially, it's the same shit, all right? If I lived Chance's life, I'd be Chance. If Chance lived my life, he'd be me, all right? Same genetics, same... he was in the same body, same life, and it sounds obvious if you say it like that, because obviously. But that's my point, is that you could take what makes Chance Chance, like whatever makes him breathing, whatever's making him consciously able to talk to me, put that inside of me, and it's the same thing. We are, and that's the same thing as in squirrels or trees. I think everything has this, the book I've been reading, and I gotta finish it, The Power Now. I slowed down on it because I was really, when I was reading that book the other week, I felt it. Like, I felt what the fuck this guy was talking about. Finally, after reading this book 5 times, and 4 times, and I haven't finished it yet. But after reading it 4 times, the 5th time I was starting to understand, and I thought I was getting somewhere. And I am getting somewhere. That's the thing about life. It looks like you're not progressing at all, and that's why it's easy to want to give up and fucking stop working and fucking just completely quit on everything. Because a lot of the time it doesn't look like you're doing anything. Like, I go to work every single day, and it's not until Friday I get paid. I mean, and that's just monetarily. What about the skills you're learning, or the brain development, or conversations with other people? You have to develop these things over time, and it takes a long-ass fucking time to develop this stuff. I guess for me it does. Conversations is different. Conversations you can go and have with anybody, but I'm pretty bad at them. I'm always just chilling by myself. Because I watched this video the other day. It was about psychology and stuff. And it was talking about how some people feel... Oh, I think I have the quote, actually. I saved it. And it resonated with me because it's how I used to feel. Like, when I was, like, a kid and just growing up and shit, I felt this. Let's see. When I am among the many, I live as the many do, and I do not think as I really think. After a time, it always seems as though they want to banish me from myself and rob me of my soul, and I grow angry with everybody and fear everybody. I then require the desert, so as to grow good again, meaning he requires solitude. Because that resonated with me, because if you're constantly around other people, and you're not sitting by yourself, figuring out what you need to be doing and how your brain works and all this shit, then how the fuck are you going to know who you are? And there's this guy that I met at work, actually. And him and I, when I first met this guy, so it's a weird thing with me. Either I fully trust somebody or I don't trust them at all. It's a weird thing in my brain. I'm trying to get over it, actually, because it's not helping me at all. But I've just been that way my entire life. Like, and it hurts me because sometimes I don't even trust Chance. And it's not like I don't trust him, obviously. I'm living with the guy. But, like, my brain will try to convince me that he's, like, trying to fucking conspire against me and shit. But I know it's just my brain being a fucking idiot. And that's just how it always has been. And I think that's why I require a lot of solitude, is because, well, that doesn't make any sense. That just means I got to talk to people more. Yeah. That's how you get rid of trust issues. You just got to talk to more people. And it's slowly going away. I can feel it because I'm getting better at it. It's just conversation's never been good for me. I'm like autistic and weird, and I just don't. My brain, everything in my brain is telling me get the fuck out of there when I'm in a conversation, and I gotta fight my whole brain and be like, no, sit here. It's fine. It's okay. It's like talking to a little kid. It's like, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's not gonna hurt you. It's just a conversation. It's just a conversation. And I tweak out and run away. I do it with my lead at work. I actually started getting better at it, but I still feel it. It's just like a low-level anxiety that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't feel this if I was by myself. But then I get lonely. It's like, that's why you can't really trust the human biology and the human brain, because it doesn't know what the fuck it wants. It's confused all the time. Like, overweight people, for example. They say they want to be skinny, but then their brain goes and wants snacks. You don't know. No, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. Like, our brain is such a complex piece of machinery, the most complex piece of machinery on the planet Earth. Everything came out of it. Cars, TVs, refrigerators, fucking weapons. All of this shit came out of the human mind. And we don't even know how this thing works. The only thing we know is it's electrical impulses. And we know certain parts of the brain do certain things, but we don't know much about it. I listen to a neuroscientist quite often, and he talks about how everything you learn in med school is obsolete by the time you get out, because everything is constantly moving and there's constantly new things being realized and new fucking innovations being done. Like, technology is the same way. Things move way too quickly and our brains are too slow. We've got I heard an analogy one day. It's like with the phones, we're pinning a couple million-year-old computer against a super hyper intelligent computer. That's basically what we're doing every time we pick up our phone. We got this animal monkey computer, and we're trying to fucking navigate this thing. That's why it's so addicting, because it literally hacks our brain and fucking sucks us up. And by the time you realize it, fucking 7 hours are gone, and you're like, Jesus, did I just spend 7 hours looking at animals die on Twitter? And then you're like, now I feel a little fucked up inside because I watched that. That's how I feel, at least. Bro, I watched this really fucking sad video one day. I don't know the context. I don't know if the cop was in the right. I don't know what it was. But the cop shot a family's dog, and the dog was like whimpering and running around, and then it just fell. And it was the saddest thing. I was like, all right, bro, this is enough fucking social media for today. I've seen enough. I was like, God damn. It's the fucking morning. I'm just trying to laugh. And I'm sitting a fucking dog die on Twitter. I'm like, come on, man. It's kind of wild, man. Because the older generations didn't have to deal with any of this. My generation, our generation, if you're fucking my age, we're like the first. We're the first ones to actually like grow up with a phone, from a baby toddler thing with a phone all the way to this adult, and it fucked us up. All of us are fucked in the head, bruh. We've seen too much. We've seen too much glory, too much people hyping themselves up, too many luxurious items that we can never see and own. We've seen too many people getting rich and successful on the internet. So we got this delusional fucking thinking that we're hot shit and we're better than everybody else. But nah. We're not. I don't know which generation's the best, to be honest. I don't think any generation of human can be the best, because we're always improving, ideally. Like, obviously, our generation kind of took a tank, but ideally we'd be always improving, and we'd just constantly get better as a species. I think that'd be the goal. I don't know why we look at ourselves as these separate, it's that monkey brain. It's a tribal mentality. We want to put ourselves into a group so that we can other people, like sports or iPhone versus fucking Android or Xbox versus PlayStation. We love these tribes. Or Democrat versus Republican. Like, we got to put everything in a fucking category, and then it leaves everything else that could be outside of those two categories. Why the fuck do we got to do that? And it's our brain. Our brain does it. And that's how we make sense of the world. That's how we got this far. Because if we couldn't rationalize and reason things, then I guarantee that's probably what gave us the ability. We gain self-awareness and gain ration and reason, and then we probably start thinking, let's fucking look for new food sources. Why are we just staying right here? Like, why are we just staying in the jungle? Let's fucking leave this place and go see what the hell we can do out there. Like, you need the human brain to do that, I guess. It's just a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap that we're inevitably in. It's a hard trap. And we start on hard mode, all of us. Even if you got the easiest childhood ever, we're on hard mode because we're human. Male or female. In my opinion, it's probably a lot harder to be female. I would not want to fucking do that shit. It's not a fucking cakewalk being a dude either. But trust me, I do not want to be a woman. I was thinking about it the other day, man. It must be terrifying. Like, think about how unpredictable we are. And like how aggressive we can get. How fucking horn doggy we get. Men are fucking weird. And if I was just fragile and small all the time, that was my only reason for wanting to grow up. Was because I knew I'd be a man one day. And I knew people wouldn't fuck with me. Because as a little kid, they're fucking with you all the time. Pushing you around, talking shit. Like, and women just have to deal with it. I think that serves and proves like a higher level of intelligence. Because you have to be smarter to be able to deal with that nonsense. Like, you just bite the bullet. Like, it's like what people say, be the bigger man. Be the bigger woman. They're fucking being the bigger woman. Usually women are biting bullets. They don't talk shit much. Like, they really can't. Because men are weird. We're aggressive and angry. And especially in arguments. Like, if you're fighting with somebody and then men start yelling and shit, we got more bass in our voice. We sound louder or bigger. We fucking look like monsters, dude. I'd be terrified. And then you gotta fucking deal with that while you're dealing with shit every month, and then you got shit every 9 months when you're having a baby. Like, what the fuck? Fuck that, dude. But I mean, I guess that's the gamble. Do you want to be stupid and strong or smart and weak? I guess I don't know. I also wonder if that's why older people start, like older men start to calm down, is because we start to get more fragile and our muscles start to deteriorate away, and then we start to become more like we once were, or more like, I wouldn't say more like women, because a lot of men would probably get offended by that, but we do in a sense, because physically we become more frail, our bones become less dense, we can't like defend ourselves like we once did. So it's like we have to start expanding our minds more. Maybe that's why like older people, like older men, start diving into like fucking World War II and shit. That's what a lot of dads like to do. They like to look into World War II and shit. My dad will just fucking pull up like Chinese movies and shit and read the subtitles. He's an interesting guy. I love him. He had me help him stack his trailers on top of one another this weekend. He fucking has this little trailer and a bigger trailer, and I had to hook onto the bigger trailer with my truck. He hooked onto the little one, and we made these like makeshift ramps that, oh my god, it was sketchy as shit. OSHA would not approve at all, alright? But we got the trailer on top. We did break one of the boards, but then my dad's like, I'll show you. And he grabbed like this metal ramp, and it was a smaller one, and he put it under the board, and he's like, let's try it again. And we just used the broken board on the metal ramp. My dad's a funny guy. He's an awesome dude. I love him. I like to go, and every Sunday I make it a point to go and see that man, just because I feel like kids, like, they don't see their parents enough. Do you not realize, like, our parents aren't going to be around that long? Yeah, maybe they have 40, 50, 60 good years left, if they're lucky. Like, and I'm not saying this to be cynical or like put anybody down, but 60 years, let's say, if your parents are 40, let's say you got 60 years, all right? Like 100's the standard lifespan of a human if you're healthy and all that shit. So even there, right there, we're fucking cutting corners. But 100 years, you got 60. You're not going to be with them all 60 years. You're going to be with them maybe a few hours out of those 60 years. Like, I mean, a few days, I'd say, because if you compound it. But think about how much you see your parents during the year. Like, it's not that much. Like, I'm lucky enough to go see him every weekend, my dad, but most people don't, and especially if you move away from them, or you have your own family, or you're working a lot of hours, you don't have time for that shit anymore. Like, kids have all the time in the world, and your time slowly gets eaten up by responsibility as you grow older, and people don't realize that. I mean, maybe they do, and that's why they fucking dick around so much now, but why wouldn't you spend your time that you have now in a useful manner, and then when you have responsibilities later, you can take care of your responsibilities? That makes more sense to me. Because if you have the time, most people our age are partying, and I'm guilty of it. I fucking drank a shit ton this weekend, but I balance it out. You got to go to the gym. You got to burn that fucking calories off. You got to fucking drink enough water to rehydrate yourself. You got to fucking make sure you take care of your responsibilities, which I don't have responsibilities on the weekend, but my responsibilities that I have in my head: gym, meditate. I fucking go and see my nieces and nephews and my sister. I go and see my dad. And then whatever else happens in that weekend is whatever else. But those are my responsibilities. I have to go see my family. And I think everybody else should make that a priority. You should make it a priority. Because even with my nieces and nephews, yeah, they're babies. And the oldest one's 11. She's going to be 12. But they may be babies, but they grow so fucking fast, you have no idea. I lived with my sister for 5-6 months before I moved in here with Chance. And I got a little taste of what it's going to be like to have kids. And the motherfuckers get up at 3 in the morning. And then they're up till fucking noon. They get to take a nap. You don't. You got to stay up longer. If you were drinking, well, that was a fucking mistake. Because now you're hungover and you got to deal with these kids. And you can't yell at them. You can't be a dick. You can't fucking take your uncomfortable, mind, however you feel. You can't take that out on the child, because then you're the fucking piece of shit. The kid doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He just fucking wants his breakfast. He's hungry. And you wake up hungover, pissed off, because you got to get up at fucking 4 o'clock in the morning because the baby's crying. I didn't have to do any of this, obviously. I'm just speaking from my sister's experience. I got to sleep in. Sometimes he'd wake me up, but I worked early anyway, so I'm just lay here for another half hour and get up. But it's no walk in the park. But what my main point was that they grow so fast. They're growing fast. They're growing every day. I go there every week, and every week I see something my nephew does, or he's moving his lips and his tongue, trying to talk in a different way than he was. He's constantly working in his brain. That's the beauty of children, man. Their brains are plastic, and they're constantly working in there, trying to fix things, get it working correctly. That's why I never liked when people treated me like I was retarded as a kid. They treated me like I was stupid, and that I didn't deserve respect, and that just because I was a child and they were the adult, but I'm the future generation, and you treated me like shit. What's going to happen when I grow up? And when I make the fucking law, or I get to vote, and I get to fucking decide what goes in and what comes out, and then it's all fucked. You didn't do it right. And you can't treat them like that, not just for that reason, because of what could happen to you. That's probably the most selfish reason. But this is literally the future generation of the planet, and it's training. The neuroscientist Huberman I listen to calls it training a nervous system. And a dog is a perfect practice for that. You get a new dog, a puppy, and if you can train that puppy to be a good puppy and go outside and do all that shit, then maybe you're ready to have a child. And that obviously it doesn't equate, but you're training a nervous system is what you're doing when you're raising a child. You have to be consistent and have repetition every single day with this child. Consistency and repetition are the two most important things, because every day is new to them, basically. They don't really access their memories until a later age. It's it's hard to speak with my youngest niece because she's kind of impulsive right now. She's kind of how I was, but my oldest niece, she probably didn't access her. It was I remember it being a crucial moment when she accessed her memory, because she didn't remember shit, and then one day she's like, "No, you said this yesterday," and then I'd have to hold myself accountable because she had her memory, and then I felt bad for even not holding myself accountable before, because even if they can't remember, you should hold yourself accountable. But until that's basically what you're doing, is you're training this nervous system with through repetition and through consistency every single day. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. No, don't do that. No, stop. Don't. You're just making noises at them, fucking trying to keep them in line. That's all you're there for, really. Because they're going to do it anyway. They're not going to listen to a goddamn word you have to say. They're going to fucking do what they want. It's just what kids do. But you're there to make sure that they don't fuck themselves up too bad. It's like why we don't let kids get tattoos, or why we tell kids not to have sex until a certain age. Because we're just there to make sure they don't fuck their lives up completely. I think that's all parents are there for. Because that's all you really can do. Because if you look at these helicopter parents, that never works. You look at these really loose, friendly parents that want to be friends with their kids, that doesn't work. You just have to be in the middle. Like, if they're doing something really fucking dumb, intervene. Tell them, no, don't do that, stupid. But don't call them stupid. But be like, don't do that. That's dumb. You could call their action dumb. Just don't call them dumb. That's rude. You shouldn't call a kid stupid. Nobody's stupid. We all just lack information. Especially children. They lack the most information. They just started the game. You got to give them some fucking time, dude. But that's basically all it is. You just repeat yourself every single day. And I watch my sister and my brother-in-law. It's like having crazy people in your house. It's like schizophrenic fucking psychos running around. Fucking the little baby, he's always fucking throwing everything around, making messes, trying to fucking put everything he can in the dog bowl. He's fucking putting shoes in the dog bowl, getting them wet. He's fucking putting his hands in there, and he's fucking throwing snacks to the dogs. They don't give a shit. They're like little psychos running around. It's awesome. I love it. Just because I feel like a psycho. I've always felt that way because I was always that way. I was never like gonna sit there and accept what people are gonna tell me just because they're telling me. That's why I try to give them. I think, well, from what I've researched, you gotta give kids a reason to do things. Also, like if you just tell a kid to wipe their ass, they're not gonna do it. Why? Why do I have to wipe my ass? And that's what I would get in trouble for a lot as a kid, because I'd be asking why. Why do I have to do this? Why? And nobody would give me a reason. They'd just be like, because I thought that. And I'd figure out why. If they didn't give me a good reason, then I'd fuck around and figure out. And I'd get in big trouble, but I'd figure it out. I'd be like, oh, that's why they say not to do that. It's just how kids learn. But the same goes for like if you got to wipe your ass. Because why would you wipe your ass if you're just because it's not bothering you at the moment? Now, why would you do it? Until you get a rash and it starts getting itchy and it starts fucking you up and you get an infection or something. You're not going to do it. Kids need a good reason to do things or they won't do it. So just telling them like, oh, just do this because I said so. My biggest thing is, and I'm guilty of this myself probably, but that's why I'm trying to get all my bullshit out before I have my own kids. My nieces and nephews are like practice, and I'm fucking so grateful for them because I love them with my whole heart and soul. They're like good practice for getting all my own nonsense out. Because I don't want to be drunk around my kids or doing stupid shit around my kids. I want all that. That's why I'm waiting so long. I kind of feel like that's the thing. Sometimes I'll see people my age having kids and shit. I'm like, damn, I wish I could have that. But then again, we have time. Like, especially men. Men can have babies into the, 90s. It's fucking wild. Women have a certain cutoff point. But men can just fucking keep banging them out. As long as you keep them healthy, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of wild. But, what was I talking about? Let me get a drink of water. My perspective is that why would you not wait the longest point to where you could? Like, I'm not saying wait till you're 60 to have kids. That's fucked up. But wait till 25, late 20s, 27, 28, into the 30s maybe, early 30s. Late 20s, early 30s? We can't wait that long. I think we have to, because I see the kids my age, bro. I don't know why I said bro. I'm not talking to anybody but myself. But I see the kids my age. And these motherfuckers, I'm kind of nervous for them just because we were just in school 3 or 4 years ago. We just got out. We just got out of there. And you're having a baby? What the fuck? That's terrifying. You don't have any money. You don't have any knowledge. You don't have anything, and you're about to have a child? What the fuck are we doing? That is scary. And I know a lot of people do it, and a lot of people have young pregnancies and shit, and it's not always entirely everybody's fault, but ooh, that is a commitment. And I've thought about it. If I get a woman pregnant, I'm gonna take care of that child. I got 9 months to prepare. I better fucking lock the fuck in. I better stack my bread. I better fucking get all the baby shit together, build a crib. I got to do all of it. I've thought about it many times because I'm not going to abandon my child, and I don't believe in abortions because I think killing a baby's fucked up. I don't care how fucking... If it's a cluster, that's the hard point. I have no say over this, obviously, because I'm not a woman, but late-term abortions is, like, wild. But if it's like a cluster of cells and you got... It's hard for me. It's really hard. I shouldn't even speak on this subject because I'm going to get myself in trouble. But all I'll say is that I was supposed to be aborted, and I don't believe in that shit because I think it's taking potential off the planet. Then you look at the fucking foster care system, that's not any good. And then you look at like people having kids at a young age, that's not good. Ideally we'd have a fucking system set up that worked for people getting pregnant on accident. Like that's the most important thing you're about to, and that's the most important journey you're about to take on in your life. And there's no practice for it. There's no preparation. There's no teachings. There's no nothing. You can read books about it. That's what my dad always said. He's like, you got all these parenting books, but it's either by people who don't know how to parent, or it's about one specific way how to parent, and you can't utilize it. It's like learning for life, like learning information for life, or like if you want to be, let's say you want to be an electrician, right? And you've been watching electrician videos for fucking 20 years. You've been fucking grinding them out. You practice on the computer doing connections and stuff. But until you step foot and do that job itself, you're not an experienced electrician. It's the same way with parenthood. Should be the most with parenthood, to be honest. That's kind of fucking... It's terrifying to me that we don't need to do an IQ test, or we don't need to... There's no test whatsoever to fucking be a parent. I need to take a test to drive, dude. I need to take a test of... Well, I guess not anymore, but... You used to have to take a test to own a gun. You don't have to take a test to own a child. What the fuck? You could just give that thing to anybody. Anybody could go and get that thing. Anybody can have a child as long as your reproductive organs work properly. That's insane. Because there's a lot of human beings that probably should not have children. And I'm one of them right now. I definitely shouldn't be having a child right now. That's why I try to be careful. Because I've thought about it, and I will take care of my child if I have one. But... that's what I was talking about before. I'm fucking 21 right now. I'm fucking retarded. I may know more than I did a few years ago, but in a few years I'm going to realize I was retarded again. And then in a few years I'm going to realize I was retarded again. And then in a few years I'll be like, God damn, I thought I was done being retarded, but it looks like I still am. It's just the process of being human. We're always retarded. The more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn. It's like, holy shit, it's an endless fucking... I seen a quote from Isaac Newton. It was like, the knowledge in one's head is merely a drop in the vast ocean of knowledge. That shit's fire. That shit is fire. That's exactly true. You got a drop of knowledge, and the whole knowledge is an ocean. You got to fucking keep digging, bruh. You got to keep sucking that water up. I'm going to see what we're at. I think I'm going to end this thing because I got to do some other stuff. I got to go and do my laundry, wash my bedding. I got to shower. Probably put this lamp back. I got to definitely, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Before I even upload this video, I'm putting this lamp back because I always forget to put it back. And then Chance has to do it. I think that's it. Ladies and gentlemen. I love you guys. Bye.